Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to the first Runcast. We're here in Tennoji. My name's Alex, and this is my way of life. And today, to celebrate the New Year's, I wanted to do a video about kind of new beginnings. And in order to do that, I wanted to show you kind of my origins here, where I started out when I came to Japan. And can't believe it's been about 10 years starting next year. So yeah, let's go ahead and kind of show you my hood and see where things go. To get this Runcast started here, I've been thinking a lot about how to kind of express myself in a way that is both fun and interesting. But of course, I also really want to, I've always wanted to show you the part of Japan that I feel like most people don't really get to kind of explore because, most Japan content videos are from people kind of like tourist stuffs, but at the end of the day, everyone starts from humble beginnings. And so I felt like maybe now is the best time to kind of show you how I started out. So this little neighborhood here is in the Abeno area right next to Tennoji. And I loved living here because, as you can see, it's already kind of quiet, it's pretty peaceful, but the people here are also really, really friendly, which is nice. And I haven't actually been in this neighborhood in a very long time since I moved. So hopefully we'll be able to find, the starting pad. But with New Year's coming around the corner, so many changes, it's kind of good to think about, where you've come from, how much you've grown, how much you've changed as a person. I think that's really healthy, especially when, winter time, maybe a lot of things happening, you feel really busy, or, gets cold, less sunlight, so seasonal affective disorder, people get depressed and stuff. And in my case, just thinking about the future, especially recently with the new prime minister, a bunch of foreign policy changes. So, things can be kind of scary. But, it's nice to remember that, right now, I live in a house. I got married, I have a cat, really cute cat. But like this time 10 years ago, I started out with basically nothing. All of my money, all my savings went toward moving here. And I remember my first day here too. It was kind of sketchy. I was picked up in like a really big white van by some Australian bloke named Bruce. And he's like, all right, I'm going to pick you up and a couple other people I'm supposed to meet today. Get in the van. And the van, didn't even have proper seating. It was kind of a mess. It was really like super sketchy, but what else was I going to do, right? So got in the van, and thankfully it was, everything worked out okay. But especially when you're moving to a new country, that kind of stuff, that's so scary. So, oh, is this it? Is this it? Oh. Can't believe I remember how to get here. And boom. Chateau Oji, the origin. It is in this very spot right here, Chateau Oji, that I started my journey in Japan. Here in humble beginnings, nice quiet neighborhood, and it's nice. I'm glad I managed to find the place, no problem, but brings me back. I don't even remember like the details of the building because back when I first came here, my schedule was like go to work, come back really late, and then on weekends wake up really early. So I was like pretty sleep deprived. It wasn't very conducive for a good, healthy lifestyle. So this is so nostalgic, brings me back. I remember, just like feeling really uncertain about life and stuff. And this is what my apartment looked like on the inside. As you can see, very, very tiny, very, very cramped. Couldn't do much, but for like a single bachelor, it did its job. And unfortunately, the dog that lives across the street is still there. So I imagine in the morning it's yap, 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 yap. So it's hard to kind of sleep in, but that's what it is. So that was really cool, very nostalgic, just like saying that. I haven't, visited that place in, years, essentially, since I moved from my last place. And actually, speaking of my last place, let's go ahead and head over there right now. So I think I was at the first apartment for like a year, maybe a year and a half before I moved. Because let's be real, it was just too small, couldn't really do anything. And, I wanted to not do everything on a small laptop, hunched over on a small little coffee table like that. It was not comfortable by any means. So, we had to upgrade. And imagine this. When I moved to my new place, I carried everything that I had to this next place, which is the route that we're taking right now. And it took me all day, a couple of hours. And I just remember feeling so exhausted. Thankfully, I didn't have any major furniture like desks. And the place came furnished with the bed and stuff, so I didn't have to transfer that. Thank goodness. But just all my suitcases, all my clothes, appliances that I bought, dishes and stuff like that, I had to carry those in their own boxes. I think it was maybe 5 or 6 trips that I took before I got everything over. And my arms were just wrecked for the next few days. So it was a great workout, but also not something I would do again. Yeah, it's crazy how much this area just seems so foreign to me. I don't recognize most of this stuff. Bits and pieces are kind of coming back here. But it really goes to show how much not living in an area makes memories kind of go by. Speaking of moving, we are actually looking at a new place, so this will be not a rental this time, but we're looking to buy it. So pretty exciting, talking about leveling up in life, starting from that small apartment to boom, house. And then it's going to be an apartment this time because, for various reasons, we think that, especially as we get older, living in an apartment is more convenient, and especially in the housing market, if you're looking to sell and stuff, better long term. So we really like this place. The view is fantastic. So if we get it, our lives are going to change quite a bit. And, just looking here makes me wonder how much of our current place that we have been living in for about 5 years, how much we're going to forget that area, or how much it's going to change. And that's the question too, how much of this is just me not remembering, or how much of it is actually different. So, okay, I feel like there should be a convenience store on this side of the street somewhere. I thought it was here. No, it's the hospital. Maybe it's this one right here. Oh no! Wait, what? That used to be like a 7-Eleven. Wow, okay. So yeah, there used to be a convenience store, now it's some sort of bakery. So okay, so the place has changed. I'm not crazy. Whew. For those listening to the Runcast here, yeah, thank you for joining. I strongly encourage that you, if you like this kind of style, head on over to the YouTube, put some comments, or just, let me know what you think of this style of video. Because I definitely want to make more in the future, just like a Runcast, because I know not everyone has the time to just watch, So in the future, I'm planning on a bunch of different things, theme topics, what's it like living in Japan, or, dealing with more nuanced stuff like taxes, or just like teaching life, ALT versus Eikaiwa work, stuff like that. So look forward to that in the future. Now this is where I moved to. So that route that we just took, which was about, I don't know, maybe a kilometer, I don't know. Imagine you carrying suitcases, full ass suitcases back and forth, all the way here 6 times. Let me know how sorry you'd be. So this is it. This is the second place I moved into. So about a year and a half after the first apartment, I moved here, and I really loved this place immediately. I fell in love like the first moment I saw it. You can see right behind me, the little park area right there. And then just like right outside of my unit, we had this nice open plains here. If you saw my One Punch Man or like, Murph challenge video, this is where I did most of my workouts every day. I would do the push-ups, squats, and pull-ups. But oh my God, like since moving here, there used to be playgrounds right there. And that's where I did the training. So, oh man, it's kind of sad to see that kind of gone, but that's what it is. This area didn't have too many children to begin with, so it is what it is. But you also hate to see that. That's unfortunate. But I loved living here. This is the Abeno Belta area, so very, very convenient, very beautiful, and yeah, it's this was my home until I met Kay, and then we got married, and then moved in together. Or no, the other way around. We moved in together and then got married, so it's really nice being here. It feels like I didn't really leave for very long. I really loved coming here after work, especially just like chill out here, and the little benches there, very kind of nice. So going from like tiny apartment to this place, which I have a apartment tour video. If you're interested in that, you can see that link right there. It's nice to see how things have changed, so cool. But let's get on with the tour. So one of the best parts about living in this area was just how convenient it is. I mean, my apartment was just right up top there, but then already there's a convenience store. If you're into gambling, there's pachinko, there's a park right here, and then there's a hospital just very nearby. Unfortunately though, the highway is just like right across from the building, so it's quite loud, unfortunately. So I did not have very good sleep living here, and I think I was living here for like 4 years, something like that. So not bad, but I mean, bam, right here is Q's Mall, right there. So just like a 1-minute walk away from the mall, like 5-minute walk away from Harukas, the tallest building in Japan. So of course, rent here is extremely high. You pay for the convenience. So as a young person, I love this. It was so nice, so convenient. If I wanted to go out, it was really easy to do that. And the access is really good too. You have the Mirosuji, you have the Osaka loop line, you have the Tanimachi line, so a bunch of stuff, and then Kintetsu, so you could pretty much get anywhere from this hub spot if you are looking to move into Osaka, but don't want it quite as busy as like Umeda, Namba, that kind of area, I definitely recommend this area. A little better balance. It might be more expensive though, so keep an eye out for that. But if you're trying to live that young nightlife without being too overcrowded, then this area is fantastic. And this is the route that I used to run a lot at night, so living here is actually kind of what got me more into consistent running, because nice wide path, not too many people, very well lit, so even at nighttime I could run here no problem. And then of course, Japan being so convenient, there's convenience stores everywhere, so you can get like a drink if you're really parched or thirsty. This is ideal. And then just like 5K from here is Osaka Castle, and then 5K north is Nagai Park. So you got a bunch of parks really nearby if you really want a more like nature-oriented path. And then got a bunch of restaurants, community center. This place was so nice. Honestly, I wouldn't mind living here again if we could afford it. My gym was just in that building up there, so it was really nice there. And oh man, if you haven't seen my Japanese gym video, check it out, because that's where I took it. And inside it had a like hot tub, sauna room, so like right after workout, get in the hot tub. Oh man, it's like the best for recovery. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Whew. But with new beginnings, of course, comes new worries, but also new things to be excited about. One benefit to the place we're looking at, we're gonna try and move out more into the countryside outside of the main Osaka city, which means more nature, that things are less crowded, more sparsed out, and of course cheaper prices, while it is not as convenient. So if you're like really young and want to like party and stuff, it's not the best. But if you're in like me, mid-30s, not really caring about that sort of nightlife and just want to like have a place to like be, relax, and like less noise, I definitely recommend like Hiyashi Osaka, Wakayama, Nara, more countryside. And they got some beautiful homes, much more better access to like really good hiking trails and stuff. So that's something to be excited about. And also, I've asked a lot of Japanese teachers who, of course lived here their whole lives, but also taught in a bunch of different schools. And they give me good advice regarding the education in other parts of the Osaka area. So it's nice to see that consistently within Osaka, the school system is very, very restricted. They have to like follow this and this sort of curriculum, which has its benefits, but I think the overall quality of teachers is lower compared to if you're going outside of the city, where we're going to live in Suita. They're thinking they have more of a kind of an independent sort of education system. And just like walking around the neighborhood, we noticed a huge difference in terms of like how people were mindful. Like being in the city, I've already seen like a bunch of cyclists like scowling at each other, being like super rude, not being mindful, kind of getting in the way of each other, and like people walking, which is not cool. And you can see that reflected in the kids too. A lot of really, of course there are a lot of great kids here, but there are also a lot of unfortunately really troubled or neglected kids who just like their parents are so busy or they don't take the time to like really spend time with them. So that's really unfortunate. Whereas just like a few days outside of the main city, you can see a lot stronger community vibe with the people. The kids were a lot more polite, and especially if you're looking toward starting a family, as we are, yeah, that's great. We love that. So something to think about if you are trying to move here. And it makes me really excited to like have a kid more grounded in nature, I feel, especially in the digital age when everyone's like on their iPads, shoving technology in their face. I don't think that's good. So they definitely need more space to just like be kids, This place is great. A lot of cool restaurants. Popular as ever. This place in the summer, sometimes they'll have like a zip line. They'll do live shows and whatnot. It's pretty cool. Really like it. There's Tsutenkaku. It's a Shinsekai area if you want some of that nightlife, like kushikatsu, that kind of stuff. Really good. In this place, it's a little barbecue area and futsal, daycare, and whatnot. Then here's the zoo. So we got the Osaka Tennoji Zoo. I actually went there with a friend and her baby the other day, or a couple months back with Kay. And it was really nice. It was really cool seeing that despite being such a big, crowded city, they still have a zoo, animals and stuff. This place is actually really cool because they got barbecue garden here, and then they have the zoo right there. In wintertime, you can do the ice skating. That's pretty cool. And then what's really cool is if you bring your kids down here, you got this cool little jungle gym thing right there. That's awesome. Oh, that restaurant's closed. It used to have good sandwiches. Then they got this cool like climbing center, a bunch of challenges and stuff. That's so awesome. I love that in Osaka they have a bunch of cool places like this. A lot of strong climbers in Osaka too. A lot of climbing gyms. So if you're really like bouldering or climbing, a lot of really good access here. It's pretty cool. That's too bad it's closed. That was a great restaurant. Oh well. Things come and go. Whew. We're almost at one of my favorite parks. My training ground. When I first moved here. Here is a nice art museum. So right now they have... Alright, so I don't know if you know what synchronicity is, but basically it's crazy how like a lot of things in your life connect and somewhat at first maybe ways that you don't really understand. But I've been playing the Talos principle too, and boom, that's Atlas right there. And in that game, Atlas is one of the key figures in the story, talking about kind of man holding up the world, responsibility, that kind of stuff. And it's interesting how just like running here and having been playing that game recently, it's like, new beginnings, feeling that burden of responsibility and stuff. Here's the Shinsekai area right there. It's kind of nice. So, lately I've been seeing a lot of sort of synchronicities in that sense. Things in the universe lining up, whether it's like the Atlas or repeating numbers, things people say coming at the right time. It's so interesting. But I see that as a good sign, positive element. So hopefully good things are on their way. Here's Tenshiba Park. Love this park. Used to run here all the time. It's nice that it hasn't changed. So, although the main streets have changed a lot of shops come and gone, this place has been preserved pretty well, pretty much the same, so that's good. Well, comforting. So if we decide to, move and then come back in like 10 years, this will still be here probably. Look, you got the little duckies. That's cute. And then a lot of turtles also swim around here. Probably too cold for them right now, maybe. Good view of Shinsekai. Though, I remember my first day here, or maybe first week, first few days. Justin, Reagan, if you're watching this, what's up? We took a nice walk here with our, batch, and just like middle of summer, just sweating our balls off. It was the worst, but it was nice to kind of get our bearings of the land, so that was good. Very nostalgic being here. And that goes up toward the temple, and you can go to Tennoji from there. And when we first moved here, actually, this sort of area was not here, so they were still constructing it. I mean, you got the marshlands, but I love what how they renovated the area, especially this bridge right here. Very, very cool. Though, of course, with the seasons, it changes a lot. Right now, it's, not the best view, but in summer, you see them overgrown. Really looks like a proper swamp marshland. It's cool to see. Really shows the changing of the seasons. We also made a video on Tenshiba if you're interested in that. Early days of YouTube, still experimenting. But as I've gotten older, of course, right now I'm just making YouTube videos for fun. But starting out, I just wanted to experiment, learn some skills, do what I can. Whereas now it's more about kind of keeping my sanity, honestly. Sorting out my thoughts, figuring out what's going on. So I think that's something as we get older that's really important. I used to not really understand why, as a kid, I would see a lot of grown-ups running, because I hated running as a kid, right? But I kind of get it now, It's relaxing in its own way, of course. It's tiring, but it's kind of meditative. You get to sort your thoughts out. You get to explore. Get nature. It's really nice. Here is where, I don't know the exact history, but this is where the shogun at the time had his camp. And this is where, the bench. And this is where he would kind of litigate who goes where, what does what, and stuff like this. I guess this was a really important piece of history. They had a big battle in this area, so a lot of dead souls, spirits probably floating around here, watching over the land. I've never seen any ghosts, so it's probably fine, but it's interesting how much this area has changed. Specifically Tennoji, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, a lot of my students said that this place used to be so filthy. There used to be a lot of buskers, homeless people, and there still are if you go toward the Shinsekai area. But to be fair, it's a lot cleaner and less quote unquote sketchy than it used to be, especially now. But just hearing the stories that people have told me, you would never think that now. It's much more modern, industrialized, and feels very safe, so it's kind of nice. All right, at about 4K. So for about 10K today, doing 2 runs. Want to kind of show you the routes, everything. Thank you so much for following this far. Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff. Let me know what your New Year's resolution is down below. For me, I think, you know, being new beginnings and stuff, I think I also want to try and challenge myself to do new things with the channel, maybe learn some new skills and whatnot. Maybe, of course, hopefully if things go right, I'll move into a new apartment, so that'll be pretty sweet. So have a new forever home for us. So a lot of things to look forward to in the future. Maybe read some books, you know, got a lot of reading. I want to read Journey to the West. You know, I played the Wukong game. That game was just fantastic. So I want to read like the OG Journey to the West story, especially because I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, you know. So, you know, a lot of things that I want to do in the next year. But let me know what you want to do next year as well. So, you know, let's get on this New Year's resolution train together. Let's get hyped, have a nice positive start, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.